Hi there, thanks for joining us. My name is Adrienne and I am an RDI consultant located in Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Canada. This series is all about IEPs, which are individual education plans. So in our discussion today, we are going to have a bit of an introduction to what is an IEP, what you can expect from an IEP meeting, how your RDI consultant can help you through this process, and a few things you can do as you're moving forward. So this is a quote that says, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And this really highlights what we're working towards in the IEP process. It's about working together to create an education experience that is going to be positive and productive for your child, and it meets their learning needs and their learning style. So the first thing when we're looking at the IEP process is, if you've been through this process, it may not be so emotional, but if this is your first time, most likely you might feel a little bit vulnerable or even frightened. You might not be aware of what you should do or what your role in the process is. So in the IEP, basically what it is a living document, and it's meant to be an individualized plan of what the school is going to do to teach your child and help your child succeed. So when we're coming into creating this plan, it's important to recognize that you know your child better than anybody else. And the school needs that information from you so that they can tailor their teaching to your child's way of learning. So our goal is that you are going to bring information about your child, including their strengths, their learning style, and some of the areas in which they have difficulty. And then that information is going to be the school will come in with their knowledge about teaching. And this coming together, as well as the other professionals on your team coming in with input, is going to lead to a plan of what the school will do to teach your child and to help your child succeed. So at the IEP meeting, you are going to be asked to come in. Generally, it's for 30 to 60, sometimes 90 minutes. Before the IEP meeting, it's always good to ask the school who they have asked to attend the meeting. And you can bring people to the meeting who are going to help support you. So anyone like an OT or your RDI consultant. And I definitely recommend bringing someone with you who can take notes. Often when we're in an IEP meeting as parents, we can get kind of flooded with a lot of emotions. And those emotions, we need support as we're going through that experience, and we don't need the added stress of having to take notes. So, and it's also good if the school staff, as they are making notes or writing draft IEP goals, that they write them up on a whiteboard so that everybody is clear and there's no miscommunication about that. So basically, as I was saying, is you're the family and you're going to bring the information about your child. The school is going to come in with the information about all of their knowledge about how to teach, and collaboration is going to happen between the school, you as the family, and the professionals. From there, the IEP is going to be created. And so the IEP it's this living document. So basically what that means is it's a document that should be referred to throughout the year, and it should be adapted as it needs to be adapted. So on the IEP, there's going to be goals and strategies that help your child learn. So basically, most times there will be about 3 goals, and underneath each goal, there will be specific strategies to support your child. The IEP will also address any services or resources available for your child. And on the IEP, you want to make sure that there is a way to track your child's progress. And this is also really important because if the school is not actively using the IEP throughout the year, and they're not actually tracking progress, that's a really good piece of information for you in the meetings, is to come back and say, hey, like, why aren't you following the IEP? Why isn't there any progress tracking this year? So in the IEP, there may also be how the curriculum is going to be adapted or modified for your child. And it may also say what the roles and responsibilities are of certain staff members like EAs or resource teachers. So, but you as the parent will not be listed on the IEP. So basically, the plan will reflect your knowledge and input, but it's a record of what the school will do for your child, not what you will do at home. So when basically a good IEP is developed by the parents and the school working together for your child, and it's meant to affirm the uniqueness of your child and help your child learn. So it's going to pull to the next slide here. So, okay, the next thing is, what can the RDI consultant do for you in this process? And the RDI consultant is someone who can potentially go in and observe your child outside of the IEP meeting and kind of get a feel for what's going on. And the RDI consultant is going to come in with a very unique perspective about teaching and guiding. And the RDI consultant is most likely going to know your child quite well, so that they'll be able to see how they're doing in the classroom environment and how much engagement and learning is actually happening. The RDI consultant comes in with a very developmental focus. So as you know, we're not going to come in and look at all of the behaviors. We notice behaviors, but we're always looking deeper, and we're also figuring out, why are we seeing those behaviors? What developmental milestones do we need to be targeting? And how can we help the school shift so that they're also helping us with those milestones? I'd say most commonly, schools can quite easily shift their communication. They can quite easily shift their approach in terms of just how they're physically approaching the child. So they might get down and get at the child's eye level rather than talking to the child from 10 feet away. So often there's just very simple shifts that can happen that are not too hard for the school to take on, that will help create some consistency between what you're doing at home and what's happening at school. The next part of the process that the RDI consultant can help you with is advocacy. So they can come to the meeting with you and they can help you find your voice. They can help you, they can sort of cue you in the meeting if something is kind of a flag and they think maybe you should dive deeper. And they can also help you outside of these meetings if you need to, depending on your RDI consultant and how they work, but they may be able to help you with certain requests, or looking at how you're going to communicate with the school via email and those types of things. So moving forward, the types of things you want to be thinking about is, the IEP is a document, and it's kind of like a launching point. So the IEP comes to life through the relationship that you develop with your child's teacher primarily. So the goal is that you're developing this relationship of trust and collaboration. So as you're communicating with the teacher and the resource teacher, you want to be warm and respectful, yet firm. So this is not a friendship, this is a working relationship. And sometimes you may feel like you can be more friendly, and other times you may feel like you need to be more firm. So that is just a part of the relationship, but I encourage you to always be very respectful and always listen to the school's perspective before you offer your own, especially in difficult situations. So focus on building that relationship that's focused on collaboration and working together. So, you really want to highlight the things that you're seeing the school do well before you start talking about maybe some things that are not going so well. And, you know, as you're communicating with the school, find ways that works for both of you. So, for example, with my son's school, they like to communicate by text. So we do most of our communication by text or on the phone. And just having conversations about how are we going to communicate with one another is really, really important. So the other thing is, when you're thinking of your next steps moving forward, is I think that sometimes parents really want everything to just go smoothly. And unfortunately, there's going to be breakdowns, there's going to be hiccups along the way. And so rather than hoping they don't happen, is be prepared that they are likely to happen. Okay. You've got many years of this collaboration and these working relationships that you're going to have with the school, and there's going to be things that happen. There might be a breakdown in communication between you and your child's teacher. There might be an incident out on the playground. So rather than hoping and blocking out, oh, it's not going to happen, is be prepared that it most likely is going to happen, and that you will be able to get through it. And just building that support network around yourself is really, really important. So it's always a bit of a ride, and to just be prepared for that. So I hope this has been helpful, and we have got a whole bunch more videos coming on this series to answer some questions, and we would love your feedback on all of this. Thank you.